Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1, and this is Boots on the Ground, but I'm not in my normal place, I'm in Baltimore. So, let's get right into it. If you have anything you could add, send it to Southern Prepper 1, the number 1, southernprepper1 at yahoo.com. Let's get right into it. This is Anchorage, Alaska. Today at Fred Meyer's, 3 pounds of 80/20 hamburger was $16.99, pretty pricey. It's also $35 for 7 pounds at Costco. This is, remember, Alaska, but still this is a huge price increase. Also, they said the food spoilage is maybe because there's no CO2 to treat the food to keep it fresher longer, and that's probably a lot of truth in some areas. This is in Texas, a suburb of Austin. I've noticed that Waldi's and Aldi's are low on ham and turkey deli meat, and the deli meat that is available is about $7 per pound. When a week ago, I was able to buy 1 pound pack at Aldi's for just under $5. I just bought 6 slices of ham at Walmart this evening for $5. Walmart's yogurt section is looking bare. And they were out of root beer. She went on and said the eggs at Aldi's, she was paying $3 a dozen, and now they have gone up to $4 a dozen. That's a huge increase. Also, other things that were very short in the store. And she also noticed she left the place with a full cart, but she said a lot of people around her that were buying only had a few things in their carts. So I wonder if that's because they just don't have money. She said also farmers around us are harvesting their corn and baling their hay now. Glad to see them out there getting this done. Also, they went out to eat. Usually they spend $50 for their family, and that was with the tip. But now they said the food wasn't that good, and it's over $80, from a $50 bill to an $80 bill. They said with the quality and price tag, we'll be cooking at home. It's just not worth it to eat out. I have received so many people saying that. So it's going to affect the mom and pop places, plus the bigger places. This is from Mexico. It's an article that was sent to me. Mexico, a large part of it is running out of water. An extreme drought has seen the taps running dry across the country. Nearly 2/3 of all the municipalities are facing a water shortage, and it's forcing people in some places to line up for hours for government water deliveries. It's a huge problem because of the drought. They're saying 48% of the Mexican territory is in drought, compared to 28% from last year, so it's getting worse. Next is from North Texas, same situation. Dire water situation in North Texas. The rural areas west of Fort Worth and in that Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex and the surrounding area is starting to receive some restrictions, different levels. It depends on where you live. These people are definitely cutting back, trying not to waste any water. So make sure if you live in this area that you have a plan in case water shortages become worse. This is an arms manufacturer in Montana where they live. He said that most of the workers there have been laid off. I asked if sales have dropped. That was my assumption. They said no. They have lots of customers, but they're having trouble getting materials, especially for custom barrels that they make. So, if you're needing something, look at getting it now. This is Western Oregon. Cat food aisle is wiped out. First time I've ever seen that. They sent pictures of it. Lots of cat food is missing. It's just one of those items that for some reason they cannot seem to get enough of in the stores. This is fresh bread at our local Walmart. Went from $1 a loaf to $1.47 a loaf. That's a 47% increase overnight. And that's in Forest City, North Carolina. You've probably all heard about the 6-year-old that was run over by a bulldozer in Texas, and the child survived, which is a miracle. So if you have equipment and you have small kids, do not trust them. They will run out at you. They will get near you. Be very careful. Even a small garden tractor can run over a child. Be very careful. This person stopped Monday and today, that'd be Friday, at Hardee's here in Florida. Both days they picked up a breakfast and they had no napkins. The store Hardee's had no napkins. They were using brown paper towels from the bathroom. Today I asked the clerk behind the counter what was going on with no napkins. She stated they haven't received the order for napkins and won't know when they will come in. Simple things that are being shorted. This is Central Missouri update. Local farmer took samples of his corn to the place where they sell their corn, and the average kernel per ear was 20. That's terrible. Most field corn, largely used for animal feed, looks awful and short. A friend of mine went to what we call the big Walmart to pick up prescriptions for his wife's grandparents. Always was able to get 90 days for each prescription. Today, they were unable to fill one of them at all. No pills. Many of us have known that they're out of touch, but more and more neighbors are wondering if Washington politicians have lost their freaking mind. Their words. Also, good news. This couple, this weekend, we are celebrating our 60th anniversary. There is hope, they said. Congratulations on 60 years. I went to Kroger this morning, and the 16-ounce Oscar Mayer bacon that had been on sale for $4.49 had a Best Buy date of 8/7. So that's just in a couple days. The majority of their fresh meat cases were empty. There was a worker with a plunger working on trying to get water out of a fresh meat case that had meat in it. There was another worker in the dairy section pulling all the milk out of the case. I find it extremely odd that all their fresh food cases would go bad at the same time. I urge all your viewers to invest in a pressure canner so they'll be able to can meat products. That way, if the store has no fresh meat, they will still have some at home. My pressure canner is one of the best investments I've ever made. This is coming from the Spanish government. There's going to be a natural gas shortage there. They're already feeling it. So they've actually decreed that all shops, department stores, cinemas, hotels, and public buildings cannot have their air conditioner set below 27 degrees Celsius. That's just below 81 degrees Fahrenheit this summer. And heat cannot be over 66 degree Fahrenheit in the wintertime. Also, there are additional requirements that lights in shop windows must be turned off at 10 p.m. So there's a lot of restrictions going on overseas because of the natural gas situation, which will probably get worse. This person lives on a 100-acre ranch in Texas, which is about 100 miles north of Houston. We are suffering from extreme drought and extreme heat every day right now. It is really hard on our animals. I have a big fan going 24/7, and I hose my animals off with cold water every day. They stand in line waiting to be the next to get hosed off. I've been buying my 50-pound bags of bird seed along with other feed for my animals every week. All the feed prices are going up, but the bird seed was a total slap in the face. A few months ago, the bird seed was $20 for a 50-pound bag. Now it is $30. That's a huge increase. When I went to buy it yesterday, the bags were now 40 pounds for the same price of $30. They used to be 50 pounds. So now he got a big, huge price increase, and he got a huge shrinkflation that just occurred. Everything is going up at my local feed stores. This one is a person that is in. I won't tell you where they are. They're in a hospital in the South. Yesterday, we had a management meeting, and our director told us we need to increase collections. We were also informed us that last year we had about 8 million in unpaid claims, and this year, excuse me, in August, just starting in August, we already have $17 million in unpaid claims. If this trend continues, we might have to start layoffs. So this is telling you, last year they had $8 million that people didn't pay them. This year, already a little over halfway in the year, it is $17 million. That's a lot of money. I went to my local Kroger store, grocery store. I haven't not been in a week or so. Now they have security gates. This is a small town in Indiana with relatively low crime, and they just said, wow. I'm hearing more and more security gates are being placed in all kinds of different stores. So if you have a situation where you've seen a new store putting up security gates or in security improvements, please email me that. My son and his wife just paid $300 US for electricity to heat their very small one-bedroom apartment in Copenhagen, Denmark. And they were only there half that time because they were traveling. The talk among many Europeans is that they might be traveling to the U.S. and other countries for the winter months, as paying for airfare and hotel fees will still be cheaper than the proposed electric bill for the cold months. They're looking at bills close to $1,000 a month for small living spaces and much higher rates for larger homes. Unaffordable for most. Unbelievable. This is central Indiana. We called our electrician to work on a motor at one of our grain mills. Can't get replacement parts, and a new motor could take months. It took him months to come, just to come over there because he is super busy putting in whole house generators hooked up to LP or natural gas. Says he's never put in this many. My thoughts, people are prepping. This is Central Indy. This is a person took an RV vacation. The wife and this person, and they drove hours north of us. We were in the Central Cascade around Bend, Oregon for 2 days, driving around. We went to Three Sisters, Mount Washington, Mount Jefferson. I was stunned that find all the resorts were full to the brim. Some so full that the parking lots were blocked off at the highway with guards, people everywhere. Then on the return trip home, we stopped at our local resort just 15 miles from us, and it was only 40% full. Grocery stores are mostly full with some obvious shortages around here and there. Not sure why Oregon is less affected than the eastern United States. Maybe it's political. Yes, some places there's a lot of people going to hotels, motels, parks, and then there's other places where they're just deserted. So there's definitely some type of correlation here. This is Central Indiana. 3,000 acres of farmland. This was great productive farmland, has just been sold to place solar panels on it. And they said sad. These solar farms are going in, and they're putting them in on farmlands. First of all, they don't have to clear the trees. Secondly, the farmland is usually not in a flood area. So this is why they're picking this. The land is already flat as can be, so it cuts down to their expenses. But it takes 3,000 acres right now of prime farmland has been taken out of the equation. You might say that's just 3,000 acres, but it's not. I'm hearing a lot of these farms, or these solar farms, going in. So it's 1,000 acres here, 1,000 acres there, and pretty soon you're talking a lot of valuable agricultural land being compromised and not being used to grow food. This person said Walmart confirmed Wednesday it's laying off corporate workers after lowering its profit forecast as inflation takes its toll on the company business. I've also heard that a lot of the Walmarts have done a hiring freeze, and that hiring freeze could have been nationwide. This is some companies that has laid off. Ultratech Incorporated laying off 600 workers. The electric truck maker Rivian laying off 840 workers. 7-Eleven announced it will be eliminating 880 corporate jobs. Shopify is laying off about 1,000 people. Venmo, 6% of its workforce. Remax reducing the size of its workforce by 17%. Robinhood reducing its size of its workforce by 23%. It's reported that Ford is preparing to cut 8,000 jobs in the coming week. Geico is closing some offices, every single office in the state of California. So more layoffs. This person said they bought an extension cord about 10 months ago, was 61 bucks. They went to buy, I guess, another one. It was almost 108. I went to BJ's 2 days ago, and the shelves were looking pretty bare. The whole overstock shelving in one area was completely empty. I would say, well, they might be in the process of rearranging merchandise, but after seeing the lack of product on the shelves, I believe otherwise. All the packages of organic tomatoes were moldy, rotten. There was one thing of bananas left, but that was pretty beat up. The meats, the fruits, the vegetables were the most pathetic in quality. This person tried to get some sweet corn up in Michigan. Had to go to several places that found it, and when they did, it was $9 a dozen. $9 a dozen. That's unbelievable. They said they left empty-handed. Also, this is from Alaska. This is the Costco, and they say the meat section was half the length it used to be, and the aisles are spread farther apart. There was a chicken section, but no crab fish sections. There used to be back in the old days, just 1.5 years ago. Hamburger was $4.69 a pound. More reasonable than usual, but there was little meat, a few packs of pork chops, some pork loins. We didn't even look at the beef steak or roast, etc. They were completely unaffordable. And they showed me a picture of a price, a hunk of beef, and they took a photo of it and sent it to me. It was, listen to this, it was, the chunk of meat was $17.40, 4.2 pounds, so 17 pounds. It was $16.49 a pound. I'm not lying, exaggerating the fact. I saw the price sticker. So that chunk of meat was $287. Now granted, it must be a really good choice cut of beef, but for $287 and it's only a little bit over 17 pounds, It better be like gold. They also said store shelves were not full, and so many products were missing altogether. A few big bags of pinto beans and a few of black beans. Rice and flour available, but not a lot on the shelves. Also, not many shoppers there. They were mostly buying little things like snack foods or fresh fruits and vegetables. It was as if none of them knew what was coming. Actually, it was a little depressing. We got out of there for $794. They did buy a couple pairs of sneakers for $27 each, but basically it was just groceries and stocking up. Don't know what people who make less money than we do are going to do about food. It makes me scared and angry at the same time, and my heart breaks for those who cannot afford food at this moment or won't be able to afford it soon. This is Toyota. I heard worldwide sales and profits are up because they're selling everything they can produce, but yearly volume is down about 100,000 units. I live in the upper Midwest, a small rural area. We've had issues with shortages and huge inflationary issues. My daughter lives near Seattle and I flew out to visit. None of their stores have empty spots, no fronting of products unless it's something that was on sale. While my groceries in the conservative area has risen 20 to 30%, several times here in the same price or a little bit higher than when my husband and I moved away in 2020. So what she's basically saying is the conservative areas, the prices are way up and there's shortages. In those liberal areas, the products are there and not as expensive. So interesting. The manufacturer of Crisco oil announced that they are now shipping only 40-ounce bottles, which is replacing the 48-ounce bottles. So actually, the 40-ounce bottles of the Crisco oil is the same price. I think it was like $7.48. So if you need some, hit the store and get the 48-ounce bottles before they turn into 40-ounce bottles. I work for a large hospital medical company, and they work in the payroll. I sat in the HR all-hands meeting last month where they announced that in August that all hospital residents and hospital interns ships will be ending so they can go back to school. The hospital worker shortage will only be larger further as these students leave. My Walmart was a bit sparse today. Shelves were only half full and very few shoppers. On my way there, I passed a farm that used to have about 35 to 40 head of cattle. Only one remained. They've been sold for processing. A good 5 of them were young. That means fewer will be bred next year, and beef milk will be in short supply next year. It will be, because a lot of the ones that were used for breeding stock had to be sold because the farmers and ranchers cannot afford the feed or the hay. This is from Fort Polk Commissary. Commissary is like a grocery store. Every aisle has empty sections missing products. Many items rationed, particularly baby formula. Many items are being spread out to cover spots where other products were sold. Widespread inflation. Example, 2-pound 14-ounce can of cashews was $15.59 on Sunday. Now it is $17.64 on Friday. I live in a small town. Population about 750. We're located east of Colorado Springs, Colorado. They did say gas was gone down, which is a great thing, but they also noticed that Walmart is lacking goods. That many shelves are empty. Also, the canned meat they were buying have gone up. Also said the Dollar Tree is looking very bare. So it's continuing nationwide where there's a lot of products that are not available. So I ask you, please continue to prep, just put back, do your best you can, and please be kind to people. A lot of people are seriously stressed out. Thanks for watching.